Welcome back for the final block of IDEA StatiCa Global User Day. We will be talking about the winners, and we'll be announcing the winners of IDEA StatiCa Excellence Awards. Those are projects that caught the eye of our jury in the recent 6 months, I believe, the whole cycle. And I'm very happy that I have 4 professionals to talk about that with me here in the studio, so allow me to introduce them. Duncan, hello.
Hello there, Uri.
What do you do?
Well, I'm the product marketing manager at IDEA StatiCa, so I'm responsible for transforming the needs of the customer into products along with the product development team, and then marketing it so it's really focusing directly on pain points.
Thank you. Janko, hello.
Hello.
What's your job?
Yep, I'm product engineer and a structural engineer, focused mostly to steel structures, and right now with IDEA StatiCa, team leader for customer care department.
Thank you. Petra Topinková, hello.
Hello, Uri and everyone. I am also product engineer, and among other things, I create content for the support center, and I do testing and getting feedback from the customers.
Thank you. Tomáš Křivka, hello.
Hello, and hello to everyone. I work as a structural engineer and partner in StatiCom Solutions. We are a structure design office situated in Prague in Czech Republic, and we are collaborating with architects, sometimes even with internationals one, and then with market-leading developers and building companies, and on buildings for commercial and residential purposes.
Good. Great to have you here, guys. Duncan, why are we doing the awards?
We're doing it primarily because we have such awesome customers. They continue to amaze us how inventive, adventurous they are, always pushing the envelope and creating fantastic projects, which we then ask them to share with us and give us the unenviable task of trying to choose a winner from so many amazing entries.
So speaking of choosing, how were the winners chosen, Janko?
Yeah, it was quite long but interesting process with several levels of shortlisting. So we were gathering the projects for several months, and out of all of these, the first level of shortlisting was just reduce those who didn't fulfill the formal requirements. Then left like 50 of them. Half of them were selected as the best ones and getting to the finals, and shared with our jury. And this team consists of professionals not only from academic field but also from business. So I think the winners were selected quite well.
Very good. And nobody knows who the winners are. It's really now when we announce them. During the final stages of the competition, we recorded small interviews with most of them. And today, after the announcing of each prize, we will see a short video snippet about that project. So let's get into the first category of IDEA StatiCa Excellence Awards 2023, Steel Projects Small Scale. The jury was looking for something that doesn't have to be expensive, but it is memorable. And it's great that the winning project is Water Slides Access Stairway in Caldiero, Italy, and it was designed by Giovanni Predicatore. Congratulations.
A year ago, an engineering office in Verona called me to collaborate on a new project of the water slides structures that will be erected in a thermal park in Verona. This structure comprises of several parts, the columns that support the water slides and the access stair. Then this stair is the element, the focus of this presentation. This stair was designed by an architect, Massimo Alberti. He created 8 circular columns that grow counterclockwise. His stair was developed in Alplan, and then I studied all the connection with the IDEA StatiCa. And for me is very easy to collaborate, give to the steel constructor the IFC model and all the joint in the IDEA StatiCa.
A great project and a very authentic Italian gist to his presentation. Well done. These free-form structures, Tomasz, is it a trend?
Yeah, I think I can't say that 400% it is trend or some pattern, but if I can say from our perspective and our experiences, we are getting these difficult shapes, houses and buildings more and more often. Maybe it is because architects are used to that we are using such good tools as IDEA StatiCa is. So maybe that's why it is more and more difficult.
Duncan, what do you think?
Well, I think that, obviously the challenge for this entry was that it's necessary to have rigidity and it has to function, but at the same time, usability, because obviously it's the members of the public that need to use it in their leisure time to access the water slides. So what I think about this is that it's a very beautiful project. It manages to combine all the elements that are necessary to satisfy all the safety checks, but at the same time to delight the customer when it's time for them to use it.
So Petra, if I'm an engineer, I move from the rectangular to free-form structures like this. What are the consequences for structural design?
Well, you will have to learn to use such a tool like IDEA StatiCa and to use these advanced methods, because it's only option how to observe the complete behavior of the non-standard solutions. And also, it's fast and easy now, and it's supported by national standards, so why to hold the creativity back, right?
Janko, your thoughts as a former structural engineer as well?
Yeah, I agree that rectangles, squares, and triangles won't be the only shapes anymore on the site, construction site. Yeah, with all these organic shapes and irregular geometries, the structural engineers have to somehow react to this and be at the same pace as architects and designers. So yeah, it's our job to somehow bring this advanced tool also in structural engineers' tasks.
Excellent. Let's move on to the second category, large-scale steel projects. In this category, the jury was looking for a typical or innovative approach to using known materials. The winning project is a steel structure for a vertical wood in Barcelona, Spain. It was designed by Antonio Lara Silva from Most Ingenieros. Congratulations.
Brooks is a project that consists of a vertical wood. Promoted by Caixa Foro, it's a gift for the 20 years of the Barcelona Caixa Foro Museum. The structure contains 22,000 plants and 12 high-dimension suspended trees. IDEA StatiCa was fundamental for the work in order to design almost all the joints of the steel component. With the war in Ukraine as an unexpected factor, it put a lot of pressure in order to minimize steel costs. And IDEA StatiCa was the tool for it. The main structure is characterized by thin-walled, hollow section profiles which need to include galvanized steel detailing. During the design process, it led us to maximize optimization of the joints and predict, with very approximate values, behavior of the joint. IDEA StatiCa allows us to control the stiffening aspects of the global model, the plasticity flow, and the bedding mode in order to design properly the additional stiffness of the joint. During the construction process, IDEA StatiCa allows us to have quick answers to some changes that occur during the construction phase. For example, a deviation of the position of a pile foundation also changed to improve the welding according to the particular construction procedures.
galvanized steel detailing, thin wall sections, buckling, additional stiffness there, and all that with drive to save costs. Fantastic projects, congratulations again. So guys, there was a nice example of trying to save costs. Maybe you might call it optimization. Is there something of optimizing too much? Janko?
Yes, I think it can happen. Over-optimize the structure or the detail. There could be at least two unfortunate outcomes out of these. One can be that the design works on these optimizations are much more expensive than the savings on the construction side. But there is a second option, and much more dangerous, that these optimization processes get rid of all the reserve in resistance of the structure, and like there is no space for unforeseen load effects and situations for the structure. And yes, the structures are still keep falling. So optimize, yes, reduce the weight of the steel, of course, but keep the safety first.
Petra, your experience with optimizing or not optimizing?
Yeah, I have the experience, and I would like to point out that sometimes it can be tricky for structure engineer because they are pushing by investor or contractors to get the price lower. But at the end, it's necessary to realize that the structure engineer is responsible for the structure and for the safety, even for like decades. So the safety should be number one.
Okay. So Tomáš, I'm the investor pushing you.
Yes.
What do you do?
Yes, and not only investor, because architects they want nearly non-supported structures, right? Developers they want so cheap structures, and building companies they want so as easy structure as is possible, and mix it together. It means push us into the limits. So it's a daily basis for us.
Duncan, your thoughts about optimization?
Well, as everyone's already said about optimizing too much, I think that the kind of need of projects has changed a lot. In the past, I know that cost was a big factor. People are always saying, how much does it cost? But now other things such as sustainability are entering into the picture. And one of the things I really like about this project is the fact that it's embracing a vertical wood. To place a wood, a extremely green feature into the heart of a project, I think the advantages are both aesthetic, but you're ticking those sustainability boxes. You're thinking about future-proofing the world as well as the project that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to the third category, large-scale concrete. Here, the jury was looking for a landmark project, and we found it. The winning project of this category is Arch Railway Bridge in Jedetice, Czech Republic. It was designed by Jakub Geringer from Sudo Praha. Congratulations.
Project deals with a new railway bridge over the Orlik water dam as a replacement of no longer sufficient steel bridge. The new bridge is reinforced concrete arch bridge with the main span length of 156 meters, which making it the longest of its kind in the Czech Republic. The arch is constructed as a suspended cantilever using temporary cable stays and towers, which due to the high number of construction phases lead to a big data problem and increases requirements on FEM and design software. So for the design of each bearing part, we used IDEA StatiCa software, which helped a lot. Primarily, we were using the BIM module, and secondarily, to allow us to make it with shorter computing times, we used the RCS module when we can neglect the construction phases when it was possible.
If you're wondering if it is the same Jakub Geringer that sit in the panel just a few minutes ago, it's true, and he didn't know. So congratulations to him. It was a fantastic project, incredible amount of construction stages and related modeling and data handling. That's just wonderful. So it even seems that that's really hitting the limit of the software. So from your experience, Petra, hitting the limits of the software tools.
Yeah, it happens all the time, and like it's natural. Like we can create exact model, but it's on the engineering judgment to decide if it's enough to simplify model or if it's not. And the tools are getting better. So
Tomáš, hitting the limits of the tools.
Yeah, I agree with Petra that we are hitting these limits, as I told, nearly on daily basis, because we are pushed to everything, make it cost effective. But for us, it is every time the most important thing, safety. So that's we are in that situation.
Janko, should only senior engineers come up with workarounds and hitting the limits of the software, or should junior engineers do it too?
Yeah, I would say that seniors are like better for using workarounds, but yeah, if I recall correctly, the workarounds are like the everyday tasks for structural engineers, because as Petra mentioned, there is no chance to create a model, analytics model of the real world structure, like perfectly exact one. And yeah, you have to simplify on one side. On the other side, you want to get as close to the real world structure as possible. So as we already heard today, yeah, that's the space for engineers' creativity and invention to find a balance between these two.
And looking at these projects, what are the most interesting specifics in structural design there, Petra?
well, with these structures where we have to overcome some obstacles, as the river in our case, it's always challenging to design not only the final structure, but also the constructive stages and the whole process. And it requires careful planning and testing and monitoring. And we are talking about concrete, so also other influences like biological changes in concrete are taken into account. So it's really complex project.
Duncan, what do you think?
Well, I know that when it comes to designing bridges, especially railway bridges, the things that you have to keep in mind are durability, load capacity, cost effectiveness, safety, and of course aesthetics, because it's being used daily by people. And I think that this is a classic example of a project that ticks all of those boxes.
Very good. Thank you. Let's move on to the next category, student project. This structure might not be standing, but it's all the more important that students are pushing the limits of their knowledge and try to apply it. So we're happy to choose a winning project in the student category. And the winning project is the Guild of Satirists and Humorists in Edinburgh, United Kingdom. It was designed by Ying Xuan Qian from University of Sheffield. Congratulations.
The project is a speculative design of the Museum of Satirical Art that's located in Edinburgh, Scotland. In the before stage, site reconnaissance was conducted and the architectural aspirations were laid out. This presented several parameters for the structural design. Being in a built-up area, lightweight solutions were preferred, so a steel CLT hybrid solution. This was hoping to combine the environmental merits of timber construction, both in terms of its renewability, its hygroscopic properties, its carbon storing properties, and so on, as well as the heritage, aesthetic, and materiality of timber, as well as the relatively low cost of steel construction. During the testing phase in IDEA StatiCa, so I used different member dimensions and different connection designs to see what the effect was when I clicked the test button. The project is practice for me as someone who's going into the industry in future.
a very nice study in timber design, especially the lightweight CLT solutions. Is that something that we will be seeing more and more, Tomáš? What do you think?
And what do you mean exactly?
The use of timber and CLT structures.
Yeah, I think and I believe, but I can't say it 100% sure, and probably nobody, but I see some signals that timber structures will be more and more popular. One reason is that it's a renewable material, so nowadays when we are solving carbon dioxide, then it is quite good material for that purposes. And another point is that, for example, in comparison to the concrete in buildings, it is only about 1% to 1.5% of wooden structures. So there is a huge potential on the market, I think.
There is huge potential. Will it be fulfilled? Petra, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess so. It's exciting because in past the wood was used more for like aesthetic reasons, for some footbridges and some cabins and so on. And now we are able to use the potential of the wood, and we can do like long span bridges and high buildings, and also specialized structure as like tower for a wind plant.
Okay, very good. So there was a nice student study. So what are we actually doing for students, Duncan?
Well, one of the things we're doing is we're connecting directly with universities, because we know that it's always good to learn theory, but to be able to put it into practice and to put it into practice safely is essential. So not only are we equipping the students with the tools for tomorrow, but we're also making them more employable, because when they go to start their first position, they can already have experience that's very valid, and they can take the technology with them and arrive with software that really is fitted for the new job that they've started.
Anything to add, Janko, to this?
Yes, I think we can provide to students quite a lot, and for free, because we can provide at least educational licenses for our applications. So I think, and it's for free. So I think great way how to get familiar with these applications, and then quite a lot of educational content. It can be tutorials, videos, or e-learning platform. Campus. So yeah, if somebody wants to fill some gaps, maybe from university courses, that's a great tool.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let's go to our last, 5th category of IDEA StatiCa Excellence Awards, the prize of the public. So enough of the jury decisions. The engineers have spoken. The winning project is the Queen's Wharf Skydeck in Brisbane, Australia. It was designed by Dallas Lee and Mitchell Tesh from Robert Bird Group. Congratulations.
Prior to having IDEA StatiCa as a software package, we found that when designing and detailing very complicated or bespoke steelwork connections, that we would take either a more conservative approach or spend a lot of time doing custom finite element analysis models. So in the case of on Queen's Wharf, we had very complex steelwork connections, so we're able to use IDEA StatiCa to get very efficient connection designs for complicated scenarios and help communicate those to the shop detailer. We had a very swift automation process, which was facilitated by the StatiCa BIM links and SAF format import.
A great example of cooperation on a tough project between the structural engineer and the shop detailer. And as it is in most in the countries in the world, those are separate companies. That makes it more challenging. So what's your experience, Tomáš? Cooperation, structural engineer and a shop detailer.
I think it is the mostly about communication between these members in team. And it is not only about communication face-to-face in the office, what is, of course, beneficial, but when you are cooperating like online or abroad, for example, or with some external partners, you have to have some good environment, what is, for example, some kind of cloud where you gather all information in multiple files like IFC, maybe SAF, DWG, and also, for example, PDF for some noting. So.
Petra, your experience in exchanging information between a structural engineer and a shop detailer?
Yeah, I agree with the cloud because we have now the tools and we should use them because it's nothing worse than work with obsolete sources. So I will recommend to use like cloud and all the tools.
Okay, and how important are the formats like IFC in this, Duncan?
Well, the important thing is that with technology that you shouldn't limit people based on what they're using. And we're very lucky that when it comes to things such as BIM links, we're thinking about extending the workflow, about enabling. And I think that the benefits of this kind of approach, people can see every day in the way that they are building something better, but at the same time, making sure all their software is working together as a kind of continuous and extended workflow.
Janko, when you hear the new formats, is it something to rely on, or?
Yeah, I think so, because we can hear all the time about the BIM cooperations between professions. We are hearing a lot of about digital twins of the structures of the buildings, and everybody working in offices know PDF files, Excel spreadsheets, but for engineers, for cooperation, IFC formats, this is something which can allow us to really work with some digital twin. For structural engineers, in particular, SAF format, for example, is the tool or the format which can help a lot. So yeah, definitely it's important.
Okay, so it's multiple times that the IFC export from IDEA StatiCa connection is wanted, so I guess we'll just do it, right? If there's so many voices for it. Great. And that's an example of why we do these events. We've come to the end of the Global User Day. You've seen what we've developed for you in the version 23. You've seen how we think about it, what might be in the future. You've also seen customers talking about their use of IDEA StatiCa. Hopefully in the future you might be sitting in those chairs instead of them. And last but not least, you've seen IDEA StatiCa. And I would like you to see a little bit more of IDEA StatiCa team. So now I will invite our wonderful team who made this event live and so thrilling in content to the stage. And we would like to, from all of us, we would like to wish you confidence and creativity in your projects. We wish you to be strong to challenge the status quo. We will do our best to assist you. And let's express it in the sentence we love the most, and that's calculate yesterday's estimates. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.